Welcome to Defi Crypto Today. Our topic today is tax planning with the help of Wonderland and OlympusDAO. As always, there are timestamps below. So if you want to skip some bits, you can use the timestamps. And there are some links to other videos that I made below because I'm referring to other videos, okay? I don't want to make this video too long. It's not the most pleasant topic in the world. And I figured, hey, what best time to talk about taxes than Halloween? You know, Halloween's coming and it's scary, and that works with taxes. That's scary too, right? So let's talk about this. Okay, the next step is, remember this. I am not a tax advisor. I'm not a financial planner. You go get your own. I'm just giving you information, okay, to wake up, you know, some parts of your brain on the subject of taxes, because that's usually something we never want to think about. And it's important because most governments are pretty adamant about collecting taxes. So pay whatever you need to pay, don't pay too much, of course, and I'll show you how not to pay too much with some ideas that came to me, because actually a lot of people have been asking me about taxes recently. I don't know why, maybe it's Halloween, I don't know. So let's have a look at this. All right, so we need to understand what are taxable events as they relate to crypto. So what are taxable events? Okay, and another thing, this can change from country to country, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. I don't know where you live. I don't want to know where you live. I don't care. But the laws change from region to region. And what's taxable in one place is not taxable in another place, and vice versa. So these are typical, okay? In a lot of countries, these would be taxable. In some countries, they might not be. And they might be treated differently, whatever, called differently, whatever. So you do need to go and check with somebody who's certified in your country about taxes, finances, and stuff. Like get a good chartered accountant or something that understands taxes and crypto, because he's going to have to do the math at the end of the year to calculate how much you owe. So, all right. So typically, if you sell or give away cryptocurrency, that's considered taxable. Okay? And you probably are going to be subjected to capital gains tax if you made a taxable capital gain. And again, from country to country, some of capital gains may or may not be taxable. And or if you sold them at a loss, then you might be able to deduct the loss against your taxes. Okay, all right. If you trade or exchange one cryptocurrency for another, that's a taxable event. So you go to Uniswap or SpiritSwap or anything that says swap, okay, and you trade or swap your crypto for another crypto. Well, guess what? It's a taxable event. Okay. The government want to know about it because you might make a profit or a loss, and you need to report that. Now, if you convert cryptocurrency to fiat currency is the typical paper money that you have in your pocket. Okay, so it could be US dollars, euros, yen, renminbis, whatever. Canadian dollars, Australian dollars. If it's made by your government, it's called fiat currency. Okay? So if you have, let's say you've got some Bitcoin and you sold it and you got cash for it, okay, that cash is fiat currency, and the conversion process is the taxable event. So if you lost money, that can be deducted. If you gain a profit on the selling, that could be taxable. Now, if you use cryptocurrency to buy goods or services, so there are many ways to do this. Okay, you could use your MetaMask wallet and go on some website and they say, okay, pay me in USDC for this product or service. Okay, I've seen that exists already. So that's a taxable event because maybe you made a profit on the cryptocurrency that you bought and that you're trading for whatever product or service you're buying. Okay, so you have to report that as well. Also, many centralized exchanges offer crypto credit cards, right? And they're backed by Bitcoin or by whatever cryptocurrency you've got. Right? Each time you buy something with that, that's a taxable event. And you've got mining, like those people that are mining Bitcoin and Ethereum for proof of work and whatnot. That's a taxable event. They're generating income out of this. Staking. This is something that happens on Wonderland and on OlympusDAO and also Clima and many other places. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. That's a taxable event. Okay, because they're giving you extra tokens of some kind when you stake. When you stake your time on Wonderland, and you're getting memo tokens, and every 8 hours you get a rebase of memo tokens. Those rebases every 8 hours are taxable events. So that's a lot of taxable events after a year. Okay, 1,090 to be exact. Okay, so imagine your accountant compiling all that. Lending is also a taxable event. If you go on Aave, for instance, you can lend your crypto. You can lend Ether, Bitcoin, DAI, USDC, whatever, and you're going to earn interest on it. Well, you betcha, that's a taxable event. All right? So this is not the complete list. It's a list of the most obvious ones. There might be many others. Okay, check with an expert in your country. Check with your accountant or tax expert, but somebody who knows the law and what to do with it in your country. Okay, because you might have to report all these things and maybe a lot more. Okay, all right. Next item. These are typically not taxable events. However, they might be in your country. So again, check with your accountant, tax advisor, whatever. Buying cryptocurrency. Just buying them by itself does not generate an income or a loss. Okay, you buy Bitcoin today. Maybe in an hour it's going to go up and down or whatever, and if you sell it in 1 hour and it went down, then you have a tax loss, and if it went up, you have a taxable gain. But by itself, just buying and holding, or hodling as they call it, is not a taxable event. So if you never sell your Bitcoin or any other crypto after you bought it, that's not a taxable event. You're never going to be charged. If you bought Bitcoin, let's say you were lucky and you bought Bitcoin for, I don't know, $1 10, 12 years ago, and now it's $60-some thousand. Well, that $60,000 profit that you made, okay, is not taxable until you actually sell Bitcoin. All right? Just holding it, buying it and holding it for however long you want is not taxable. That holds for any other crypto. Okay. Now, moving crypto between your own wallets and accounts. So, you know, sometimes you need to bridge crypto over from Avalanche to Polygon, or from Ethereum to whatever, Avalanche or Phantom. That's not taxable. There are fees that you might be able to deduct, though. The fees that are incurred, okay, the gas fees and the bridging fees, you might be able to deduct that from your taxes. Borrowing is not a taxable event. So let's say, for instance, that you have some Bitcoin, okay? You deposit it on Aave, use it as a collateral, and you borrow against it. So let's say you have one Bitcoin, it's worth about $60,000 right now, and you decide to borrow, I don't know, $10,000 against it. Okay, and you borrow it as, I don't know, USDC, all right? The act of borrowing against a collateral is not a taxable event, unless the law in your country is different. But typically it's not. Okay? Also, the interest that you have to pay on the borrowing would be tax deductible. Okay, typically. All right? And it works for any other currency where you're allowed to use as a collateral, and that you're allowed to borrow against, such as OHM and Time or Memo from Wonderland. Okay. Now, using okay, this is bad. Sorry, I forgot to delete this line. Last line, okay, is taxable event. Don't ignore that line for now, okay? I can't edit it at the moment. Okay, next one. Okay, how to reduce taxes on crypto. All right. You can deduct your gas fees and your trading fees. So if you're on Defi and you're paying a ton of gas on Ethereum, okay, like $60 a shot every time you hit a button, okay, well, all that gas can be deducted against taxes in most cases. The trading fees from a centralized exchange like Coinbase and Binance and what have you would be also deductible. Now, obviously, if you're losing money, let's say you bought Bitcoin at the top and you sold it at the bottom and you're incurring a huge loss, okay, you can deduct that. Now, here's a strategy for you. So, let's say that you're making way too much money with crypto, okay? You're just printing money practically, all right? And you say, oh my God, I'm going to be taxed beyond belief. And a market crash happens. If you don't, and let's say you have Bitcoin, okay? So Bitcoin is sitting right now at 60-some thousand, and people panic the next day, and it drops to 20,000. Okay? So here's a way for you to help you reduce your taxes. You sell your Bitcoin at 20,000. You incur there's a taxable event in this case, so you incur a tax loss of 40,000 on your Bitcoin, which you can use to reduce your taxable capital gains and other possible taxes, okay, depending on your country, you know, and so on. But typically, you would be able to use that to reduce your taxes. And you, okay, if you don't want to lose your Bitcoin, you just buy it on the cheap. Okay, so you sell your Bitcoin and you buy it back on the cheap. Right now it's like sitting at 20,000, so you can buy it back. Okay, and claim the loss. Now check with your accountant. Okay, I'm gonna say that a lot. Check with your accountant. Sometimes the law says, okay, if you do that within for less than I don't know, a week or a month, then you cannot deduct the loss, or God knows what. It changes from country to country. So make sure you follow the recommendations of your certified accountant or tax advisor, not me. I don't know anything. Okay, I'm just giving you ideas here. Okay, I cannot give you advice. You don't pay me. Okay, like that's the thing. Okay, people get confused about this. Advisors get paid by their clients. Nobody's paying me to do these videos. Okay, I'm not paid by my viewers, and I'm not paid by the protocols either. If I were, I'd tell you, but right now nobody's paying me nothing. Okay, so I cannot officially give you advice. I can only tell you what I think. Okay, what I would do probably if I consult my tax advisors and my accountants. Okay, on what to do and on what is generally done around the world. Okay, in these cases. All right. So that's a way to eat your Bitcoin and keep it. Okay, so you can sell your Bitcoin or any other currency that dropped. Okay, record a loss to reduce your taxes and buy back the coin on the cheap. Okay. And now, this is the important part that I wanted to talk about, is that I was thinking a lot about the last few videos I made about OlympusDAO and Wonderland. And we had these wrapped stake tokens. Now, for those that did not watch the video, first of all, I highly recommend that you watch those videos. Their links are right down here. Okay? Is that you have OHM tokens, for instance. Let's start with OlympusDAO. So OlympusDAO has OHM tokens. And when you take them and you stake them on the the OlympusDAO website, they become stake tokens. And the stake tokens receive rebases of more stake tokens, okay, that get added to your balance of stake tokens on the OlympusDAO website, and you can see them on your MetaMask wallet. You'll see that every day, every 8 hours, you get a little bit more staked OHM tokens on your wallet, and the amount should be the same on your wallet and on the OlympusDAO website. Now, like this, if you just do it like this, every 8 hours you have a taxable event. And obviously, because it's compound interest, your taxable events get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you owe more and more and more and more taxes, because you're making a lot more revenues gradually. If you stay for a year, you earn a fantastic amount of stake tokens, okay? And you would probably have to pay a fantastic amount of taxes. So, is there a solution? Well, guess what? I think there is. But I want you to be careful, and I want you to check with your chartered accountant, certified tax advisor. It depends on the laws of your country. But typically, it should not be a taxable event if you get a wrapped the wsOHM or the W memo. W is for wrapped. So you have wrapped staked ohms and W memos. Memos are staked time tokens, so they're already staked. But here they're wrapped. And this one is wrapped as well. So when they're wrapped, first of all, they're staked. Okay, so they do receive rebases, even though they don't appear on the protocol itself. So they don't appear on OlympusDAO, on the OlympusDAO website, and they don't appear on the Wonderland website either. Okay, they appear in your MetaMask wallet only. And what is happening is this: your wrapped staked ohm. Let's say you have one wrapped staked ohm that you bought, and it's sitting in your MetaMask right now. So you're getting rebases every 8 hours. So you'd think, looking at your MetaMask every 8 hours, that you would have more than one ohm and a wrapped staked ohm token. But it's staying at 1. What's going on, right? How do we know that it accrued in value? Well, if you go on the website for OlympusDAO, okay, they added a new feature here. Okay, do I need to no, there we go. All right, so this is a new feature, and it explains easily what's happening to the wrapped staked ohm. So you have the wrapped staked ohm price here, and you have the regular plain old ohm price here. So currently the ohm price is $1,187, and the wrapped staked ohm price is $31,221. It's a lot more, right? How they came up with this value? Well, on OlympusDAO, it's easy to calculate. It's the ohm price here times the current index. So you multiply these two and you end up with this. It's not the same on Wonderland. They use a different calculation, but similarly, the wrapped memo token is worth a lot more than the regular memo token or the time token. So this is what's happening, is that the current index gradually grows. The current index, what it means is that if you started, if you bought the ohm token at the very beginning of the inception of the OlympusDAO protocol, and let's say you bought 1 ohm on the very first day that the protocol opened, today you would have 26.29 ohms. So it grew by 26.29 times. So, and if you go on the Wonderland website, we can do that as well. Okay, the current index on Wonderland is 2.33 times. So if you bought 1 time when Wonderland started in September, today you would have 2.33 times. So that's what this means, the current index. Okay, it's how many times the token accrued in value since the inception of the protocol. But I haven't figured out exactly the formula for wrapped memo tokens. It looks like it's 9 times, and I'm not sure why it's 9 times. I'll try to figure it out. Once I know, I'll make another video. But anyway, it's easier to calculate the price of the wrapped staked home, the WSOHM. You can see all the data right here. So what does that mean when it comes to our taxes? Well, it's a little bit like, let's think about it, about the wrap staked home, a little bit like Bitcoin. Bitcoin always goes up unless there's huge price speculation and people get liquidated when they borrow too much against their Bitcoin or whatever. Okay, they play with futures and they crash and burn, so then the price takes a dump and then it becomes a bargain and people buy it again, and then the price rises again. Okay, so over time the Bitcoin price always goes up because they have a fixed supply and the demand keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. So the token keeps growing in value all the time. Okay, that's typically what happens to Bitcoin over time, and it's very similar to what happens to the wrapped staked home and the wrapped memos. They keep on accruing in value. So in your wallet, if you only bought one wrapped staked home, it stays at 1 forever. But the value keeps growing and growing and growing because the current index keeps growing and growing and growing. Now, the value, the price of the own token will go up and down, up and down, but this index always goes up. Okay, and that's why the value here keeps growing. So in a few years, this is going to be like, I don't know, $100,000, $200,000 per wrapped staked home, while the home price could be the same as it is today. You see what I mean? So this is the advantage here. If you buy a regular home and you stake it here, okay, if you go here and you stake it, you're going to get a rebase every 8 hours. Same thing with Wonderland. You're going to get a reward amount every 8 hours, you rebase, okay? That's a taxable event. Every 8 hours you have a taxable event. Now, if you don't want a taxable event, you buy yourself the wrapped staked home token and or the wrapped memo token, because there's no taxable event. Nobody's giving you extra tokens. Nobody's giving you interest. The rebase is part of the token because it's wrapped like a candy for Halloween. Okay, it keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing in value, and until you sell it, there's no taxable event ever. So the point here is that you could keep your wrapped staked home and your wrapped memos growing for years and years and years, and they would never be taxed if you use the wrapped tokens. On the other hand, if you don't use the wrapped token and you just have S-home and memo, you will be taxed. Okay, because you have 3 taxable events per day. Okay, 1 for each rebase. You see what I mean? Okay, so there's a potential tax advantage. It depends on your country, how they treat this. The laws of every country is different. So check with your chartered accountant, your certified tax advisor, and so on, to make sure that this trick here would work in your country. In my opinion, and it's just my personal opinion, it probably would work in most countries, because there's no revenue coming out of this token. The value of the token just grows. There's nothing taxable about a house, that accrues in value. You buy a house, 20 years later, it tripled in value, let's say, and you didn't sell it yet. Well, the government didn't come and tax you on the unrealized capital gain that you made, okay, because you didn't sell the house yet. although apparently in the United States, in their great wisdom, they're considering taxing people even if they haven't realized their capital gains. So I wonder if they're going to also allow people to deduct unrealized capital losses, because that would be only fair. Anyway, so check this out with your accountant or certified tax advisor. That might be a good idea. It might be helpful to defer taxes indefinitely until you decide, okay, now I want to sell this wrap memo or this wrap staked home. Now, some people are going to tell me, okay, well, that's nice. I kept this wrap staked home for like 3 years already, and it's like, I don't know, $500,000 per staked home, okay? So I want to cash it out, right? Well, don't forget that, let's go back a bit. You could be able to use this line here. Borrowing is not typically a taxable event. So let's say that your wrap staked home or your wrap memos grew in value considerably, and you say, well, I'd like to be able to get some cash out of that and use it for something else. I want to buy, I don't know, a condo, I want to buy a boat, I want to buy Bitcoin, I want to buy whatever. So you could go to Abracadabra, for instance, and deposit your wrapped staked home, or part of it. You don't have to deposit the whole thing, okay? You can deposit just a little bit of it. And you put it as a collateral on Abracadabra, and you can borrow against it a certain percentage. Try to keep it in the safe zone, okay? You don't want to get wrecked and liquidate it and lose your investment. But that's a very easy way to get cash out of an asset that keeps on growing and growing in value without ever having to sell it. All right? You can do that with wrap memos, and you can do that with wrap staked homes on Abracadabra at the moment. It's available there. Now, I'm going to make a video about this. I did discuss it in a previous video, but I'm going to make a new video to try to explain this in greater detail, because a lot of people have been asking me about that. So I'm going to go step by step and explain why it's good and how to do it with relative safety, okay, because it's very, very, very risky. But if you can do this the smart way and don't incur too much risk, you can defer your taxes indefinitely until the time you decide you want to sell. And you can get cash out of it without having to pay tax on that cash, because it's a borrowing. In my view, in my personal opinion, it's win-win. You don't lose your asset, you don't pay tax on your asset keeps growing in value, and you get cash that you can use to do whatever you feel like doing. All right? Okay, that's it for this video. I hope this was enlightening to some of you, because many people have been asking these questions. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. The algorithm is begging for it, okay? It's begging for it. Don't forget to download the free book. And if you don't want it for free, give Jeff Bezos $5.99 and he's going to send me $1 later. See you.